Hello, and welcome to the Be Authentic podcast. My name's Georgie Perny, and I am here with Cody and Kianna Krebs. So, welcome, you two. Nice to see you.
Nice to see
Thank
you as
you.
well.
Likewise.
So, I have you here just sharing about yourselves and your journey. And before we begin into the story, just tell us about yourselves.
My name's Cody Krebs. I grew up on a farm west of Didsbury and kind of been around here most of my life. I grew up playing quite a few sports and stuff, mostly to the area, but yeah, other than that, I don't know. I guess that's who I am, really.
And I'm Kianna. I grew up in Olds, so not far from Cody, and we started dating shortly after high school and have been together for just about 12 years now and married for
3.5.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I've basically lived in Olds and area my whole life, and now we live on Cody's family farm just west of Didsbury.
Nice. And I hear that you guys are expecting.
Yeah.
Yeah, our lives are going to change again here right away.
Yeah, well, congratulations. That's awesome. So proud
Thank
and
you.
happy for you guys.
Yeah,
Thank
we
you
only
very
have a few more weeks to go, so we're excited.
Yes, good. Well, Cody, I've known you before. You played hockey with my son, and I loved watching you play hockey. And unfortunately, you had a car accident, and it changed your lives completely. So, can you tell us about your accident and just how everything changed for you and Kianna?
Yeah, so on July 14th, 2022, semi truck blew a stop sign on Highway 22 and 54 just east of Caroline. It resulted in me breaking my neck at the C6, C7 levels, so that kind of means that I don't have much for feeling or function kind of below my collarbone area. Yeah, it changed our lives quite a bit, I guess you could say. I got a helicopter ride to the foothills and got to spend the next 98 days there, kind of going through the rehab process and the healing process and whatever. Kiana got a phone call that day when she was out shopping, I believe.
Yeah, well, we had just finished holidays, and so I was on my last day of holiday, and then Cody actually went back to work a day early. He wasn't even supposed to go back to work this day. But he went back to work, and I was out shopping and got a phone call from some nurse or whoever at Foothills Hospital just saying, "Oh, do you know Cody Krebs?" I said, "Yeah, that's my fiance." And they were like, "Oh, well, we have him here in the emerge with us." And I was like, "Okay." Not honestly thought that he was like there with someone else or something. I don't know. And so I was like, "Okay, well, what's going on?" And they're like, "Well, we can't disclose anything over the phone, but we just recommend that you get here as soon as you can." So I was like, "Okay, well, I'll come there now, but can you please tell me, like, is he hurt? What's going on?" And they're like, "Yeah, we can't tell you anything. Just get here." Yeah, I rushed to Foothills, and then I actually got a phone call from Cody's boss right as I pulled into the parking lot, and he told me what happened, that a semi blew a stop sign and had hit Cody in his work truck, and that he was flown to Foothills. And so that was definitely a hard phone call to get. Yeah, I went into the hospital and they kind of pulled me aside into a private family room, and the doctor wanted to talk to me before I was allowed to go see Cody. So he sat down with me and just kind of gave me the heads up, like, this is what happened. We've done some tests, and Cody has broken his neck, or he has a spinal cord injury, and it's with his level. And what we can tell so far, it's hard to say, but it's very unlikely that he'll use his legs again. And so it was definitely a moment, but then they let me back, and then obviously Cody went in for a bunch of surgeries and stuff like that afterwards, and yeah, spent 98 days in the hospital.
Yeah. Before my accident, I was very into like sports and being outside and working with my hands and everything. So getting the news that, well, I wouldn't be able to walk again and I would have limited function of when they initially told me, or I guess the first while at the hospital, I didn't have much for function of my upper limbs either. So like my arms and hands and stuff didn't work very good. So it was pretty scary for the first little while, just knowing or thinking that I wouldn't be able to do most of the things that I really enjoyed. It turned out I was pretty wrong about that. Like I'm able to do most of the things that I used to do, just in a different way or shape or form or something like that. And the people around me really helped me out with doing that, whatever, making me feel included in whatever they're doing or however you look at it, really. So the first while at the hospital was a little bit rough. But then once I kind of decided that I was couldn't control the past anymore, you can kind of control the future a little bit. So I just did my best to kind of stay positive with everything and roll with the punches, I guess you could say. And it turned out that it did affect our lives quite a bit, but almost, I don't know, where we're at now, you look back and how scared we all were and everything now is kind of irrelevant. Like we're having a lot of fun with life now, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Good.
Yeah, I'd say the hospital staff loved Cody. He
Yeah.
was a very positive person there, and so I think he was everyone's favorite because he always had nurses just coming into his room to come visit and stuff like that, and he was always helping out the other patients
Yeah.
and hanging out, making friends and stuff. So yeah, it was fun to watch.
Yeah, I can see you making friends in the hospital, Cody. And I do remember Peyton, my son, and I'm saying my son because other people may not know who Peyton is. Your leg was kind of off the bed, and you're like, Peyton, can you help me? Peyton's
Yeah.
telling me this. And I appreciated your sense of humor after
Yeah.
something that was so tragic, you
I
know?
think Peyton actually almost passed out that day because I broke my leg in half actually. So my foot, yeah, my foot wasn't really connected anymore, but I got him to help me and I didn't tell him to grab a hold of the foot. So
Yeah.
he kind of twisted and yeah, it was pretty funny actually watching him go white. But
Yeah,
um,
that's what he said.
yeah, we managed to make a lot of friends in the hospital too. Like they let me go to Jason, one of my really good buddies. They let me go to his wedding 2 weeks after my accident, and Kianna kind of had to help me get dressed and push me around the wedding and stuff. And it was a little bit uncomfortable, but after that day, I kind of saw. I don't know. I got made feel that I wasn't any different than anybody else, and that changed my recovery journey quite a bit because it kind of gave me the mindset to just put the past in the past and move forward kind of thing. And actually at that wedding was the first time I was able to crack a beer by myself. So that meant I was allowed to drink it too. So that helped out a lot. But once after that day, I got back to the hospital and I kind of said to myself that I wasn't going to let it affect me. So I took it upon myself to work as hard as I could and like physio and I don't know, just make the best out of a bad situation, I guess you could say. So I made a point of going around and meeting everyone at the hospital and trying to make it because we were all trapped there. It was COVID, so you weren't allowed out. You were allowed limited people in. So you kind of had to entertain yourself, I guess, whether it be through harassing the nurses or going and meeting other people. And yeah, I built some really good relationships when I was at the hospital too, and I still have them to this day. So that's pretty neat as well.
Nice. Yeah. I admire your bravery and your strength, and you're a great role model for people who have been not just, in a wheelchair or have a physical disability or anything, but just people who have other challenges in their lives, who sometimes don't see the light at the other end of the tunnel or can't seem to get past their struggles. And Cody, you've surpassed so much, and I'm so proud of you. And I'm so sorry that this has happened to you, but I'm proud that you've taken this situation and turned it around for you and your wife Kianna and your family. And I think kudos to you.
Thank you very much. I don't think I could have done it without the people around me, really. So my family and my friends and the therapists and the doctors and everybody, like everybody helped me out a lot. If I didn't have my support staff, I don't think I would be anywhere.
Yeah. Yeah. And you two were engaged at the time and are now married.
Yeah.
And did you get married in the hospital?
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it was pretty bad timing for the accident to happen. Me and Ken were actually living in our holiday trailer in the past year and watching our house get built. So the house that we're in now, when I got in my accident, it was just kind of just finished the framing process. So they kind of put everything on hold. Kiana worked with the builders and everything to adapt it so that it would work for me when I got out of the hospital. So they widened some doorways and put a lift in and a roll-in shower and whatever else. we were living in our holiday trailer and we were planning our wedding. Our wedding was for September 10th, and Kianna managed to keep that day the same as well. She changed everything about the wedding. She found a new park in Calgary to get married at, which we were going to get married at the hall up the road from us. She found a really good venue to have dinner at and stuff, and cut our guest list down to just immediate family and our wedding parties, essentially. They let me out of the hospital for 24 hours, kind of, to go get married and
To fight for it pretty hard. They just because it was COVID time too, so they didn't want us off hospital grounds. So we had to fight about it, especially like because we stayed in a hotel that night and everything, and they didn't like that idea. And so Cody had to quarantine for about 2 weeks after our wedding in the hospital.
yeah, and actually before too, my buddies kidnapped me from the hospital and took me to the casino for my stay. And they dropped me off. I don't know, the hospital staff didn't really know where I was, but they dropped me off, and I might have had a beverage or two in the process, and they hit the panic button and they locked me in my room for a week leading up to the wedding as well. Wouldn't let anyone in. I wasn't allowed to go out. Kianna could come in, but she had to get dressed up in her little minion suit or whatever. And yeah. So, but looking back at it, I wouldn't change anything about either of those days, really. Like our wedding ended up being perfect how it was. Yeah, a smaller guest list, a different place, different everything, but it ended up being a perfect day in the end.
Nice. It sounds like a beautiful wedding.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah. And good for you for planning, Kianna. Like on top of everything.
I was waiting for 9 years to get engaged,
Yeah.
and so I wasn't gonna let something else push it back even further.
Oh, that's too funny. I have some questions that I did write down. So, like, there must have been times, Cody, well, both you and Kianna, when you felt angry or sad or frustrated. And how did you manage to take care of your own well-being?
You want to start?
Yeah, I can. Yeah, I think honestly, there were definitely times that I felt more so sad. I wouldn't say like angry, just sad that our life like flipped on its side, or there were moments where I'd be like, oh, how are we gonna do this? And will we be able to have children? Will we like there were so many questions up in the air at the time that it was just so overwhelming that and so many unknowns that it does make you sad and worried and nervous for the future. But honestly, for me, the biggest thing that helped me was how positive and happy Cody was through the whole thing. So I don't know, it was him that went through the accident and had a spinal cord injury and everything like that. And he was going through all the physio. And obviously, it's hard on everyone around him as well. But just seeing him so happy and positive through it all, like kind of made you realize, like, oh, it's going to be fine. Like, if he's fine and if he's working through it and he's happy and he's confident that we'll be able to do all these things and stuff, then we'll figure out a way and be able to do it. So I feel like honestly, he was the one that kept me from getting super upset all the time. I did like go through like some therapy and stuff like that, of course, just because it was a pretty traumatic event that happened in our lives. But yeah, like I think Cody, as well as a lot of the people that we met through all of this, like, the community around spinal cord injuries is like there's so many incredible people that are in this community that we've now met and have become friends and almost like family with, and like oh they're amazing. We wouldn't have gotten through a lot without some of the people that we've met so far on our journey. So yeah.
One of the peers at the hospital kind of knew that I was breaking out more often than I should have been and stuff. And he actually was a part of the wheelchair rugby team. So he called me the one day and asked me if I'd be interested in going to practice. So I went that night, and from that day on, I've been playing or whatever ever since. But we found the rugby community, and it helped us out a lot with getting knowledge. Or like you see other people in our situation, you hear their stories, and you see that they're out and able to do all these things still. In the first year out of the hospital, we kind of traveled from coast to coast in Canada with rugby and just on our own and stuff. And the first time that we went anywhere, I think, was with rugby. Yeah, I kind of just learn how to do the things. Any question you had, somebody seemed to have an answer or something you could try to help you figure out how to handle the situations that you're in. So that helped a lot. Yeah, I'm kind of the opposite of Keanu. I felt so lucky to have the people around me, like my family and my friends and stuff, kind of my support system, I guess you could say. So I felt it was harder on them than it was me. Like I felt like they they kind of had to deal with more of the mental end of things. Like for me, I woke up after whatever, I think it was like 3 days, I don't remember, after my accident, and I had tubes and feeding
Mhm.
tubes and all sorts of hooked up to all sorts of monitors and stuff. I felt that all I was doing is just kind of laying around essentially, or like my only job was to try to get better physically, whereas I know the mental strain that it kind of was putting on everyone around me. So that kind of helped me manage my well-being. I looked at it as my only job was to show everyone else that physically I was going to be able to do things again. Yeah, I don't know. I tried not to let it affect me mentally and just tried to kind of work as hard as I could to show everyone that it was going to be all right still, I guess you could say. I don't really know how to say it, but that's how I dealt with it. I don't know if I got angry at all. I find a lot of times when I'm frustrated, but you just kind of, yeah, you figure out ways of doing stuff. Like a 5 minute job will now take me an hour, but I got all day to do it. You kind of take a minute and breathe, and then it's like, well, I guess I'll let it take me an hour to fold the laundry. It's not that big of a deal. Do the dishes, whatever it is that you have to do. I do like another thing that I have done that really helped me throughout the process is if I was having a bad day, I might take that day off, like take it easy that day. I call them quad days. Like maybe I'll lay around and watch a movie that day or watch TV or something, but I have a rule that if I take a day off to feel sorry for myself or whatever, then the next day I have to get up and do twice as much as I normally would, kind of. So yeah, I guess that's one way that I've helped manage the mental aspect of it or whatever. I'm not really a religious guy, but I do have the feeling that things happen for a reason. So like there's a reason why this happened to me, and there's a reason why I'm still around kind of to share my story, I guess. So yeah. I haven't figured out what that reason is yet. I'm still working on it, but whether it be if I help one person through a tough situation or multiple or whatever, I don't know. There's a reason why it happened, and I guess that kind of keeps me going too. I just got to figure out what that reason is.
And you will. You will.
Yeah.
And Cody, you've always had a big heart and you've always wanted to help others. So there will be something in your lifetime that you'll see that you have helped other people. So that's great. And it does not surprise me that you've turned to rugby because you were a hell of a athlete, hockey player, baseball, you name it. And so I imagine that you love your rugby and that gives you purpose in your sports. So good
Yeah.
for you. Yeah, because there's times I don't even want to get out and take the dogs for a walk, and you're out there playing rugby. I had read that you're a study participant for a implant, a neurotransmitter implant that's on
Mhm.
your spine to control your, was it blood pressure?
Yeah. Yeah, that's what they did it for. So when I got out of the hospital, I kind of me and Kiana had to live in Calgary for 3 months or something, just while our house finished getting built. So she was back working and I was spending a lot of time going to a physiotherapy clinic and stuff in Calgary. And then I also signed up for a couple studies with the University of Calgary. They have kind of a division that's devoted to spinal cord injuries and doing studies and doing research on how they can help people in my situation, I guess you could say. So I did a number of studies with them, and then the one big one that I was a part of is an epidural stimulator. So they did surgery on me and they put a little electrode strip. It's like a Dr. Ho is what I kind of call it. And it goes underneath my spine on the outside of my spinal cord. And I have a remote that I can turn it on and off for different intensities with. They did it for low blood pressure. So when I get up in the morning, it's kind of like when you're laying down and then you jump up really fast, so you get lightheaded. And so I used to deal with blood pressure issues where I'd almost pass out like multiple times a day, like whether it would be getting out of bed or rolling around or even like talking, my blood pressure would drop a lot. And not only that, but it kind of goes like really high to really low. But yeah, now that I got this stimulator, I can kind of turn it on and I turn it on low and it just kind of holds me at a constant level for my blood pressure, I guess. I think prior to getting it, like us talking like this, like I'd start seeing stars and stuff and whatever, and it doesn't seem to happen anymore. And then it also has helped me with quite a bit of my nerve pain. So with the spinal cord injury, kind of it feels like you're sitting on pins and needles all the time. So they give you medication and stuff to help control that. But now that I have this stimulator, I kind of have been able to dial back a little bit of my medications and stuff as well. So that was another added benefit that I got from it. But I really enjoyed being a lab rat, I guess you could say, for the university. Like they're really good people and I don't know, I ask lots of questions and stuff and they try to dumb it down for me so that I can understand. They're all pretty educated and I'm not really. But yeah, so it was a pretty big part of the last couple of years of my life, like going in and hanging out with them and stuff. But again, it kind of gave you a purpose and gave you something to do. Like I kind of now not so much. Now I'm kind of liking being at home, but if you find a reason to leave the house, it's not a bad thing, right? Otherwise, you kind of get trapped and you don't get out and you don't see anybody or you don't do anything. And I think that's probably worse on anyone's mental health than anything. Like, yeah, I've always liked being out in the community and seeing people. So I really enjoyed that actually, and it's turned out to be a great thing with my health and stuff too. I'm having this, and they think um there might be like a long-term benefit of cardiovascular health with it as well, like not having your blood pressure fluctuate and everything. So who knows? They might ask me back for more tests
Yeah.
in the future too. We'll see.
Yes. Well, and thank you for doing those tests because you are serving a purpose there too in
Mhm.
helping them figure out how to best support spinal injuries for sure.
Yeah.
So, yeah, good for you. What supports are available that you can share with us? You had mentioned your supports was your family, of course, and whatnot, but what supports are there out there for people who may be struggling and, with other people with spinal injuries?
Yeah, there is a lot of supports available actually. Like through the university, they're developing like an app called Spine Ally, it's called. And it's kind of a resource where it has like an AI person that you can ask questions to, or it has little sections where like say you're looking for a accessible restaurant or accessible or studies that are out there that you can be a part of or anything like that. They've developed it that it's very user friendly. I've been lucky enough to have like other people, peers and stuff that have helped me through a lot, so I don't utilize this as much as I should. But there's lots of things like that, like different apps and stuff. But I think that the biggest thing that has kind of helped me is more being a part of a community. I think if we didn't find wheelchair rugby as far as like a support system or a knowledge system, I don't think that me and Kiana would be nearly where we are right now. Like, I think that getting out and meeting people in a similar situation as you are, and just kind of trying to get knowledge from them, that's probably on top of like my friends and family and everyone who has helped me through. I think that getting out in the community, like it's a new community we didn't even know existed, but now that we're a part of it, it is like Kiana said, like it's like part of our family kind of. And um I think I guess what I'm trying to say is if I were to give one suggestion to anyone, it would be get out and become a part of a team or a community of some sort that there's people in similar situations with you, just so that you can see that you can still do everything that you used to do. You just got to do it in a different way. Or like we played beer league baseball and whatever, I came back and Kiana still played, but I just kept score on the bench. I kind of enjoyed sitting on the bench and having a beer and visiting with people more than I liked playing anyway. So it didn't really affect me that much. But yeah, I think just making a point of still getting out and doing things, meeting people, and finding a community that has people with similar goals or similar situations, I think was a big part as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd say that for sure. And then obviously like for spinal cord injury and physio in general, like there's lots of support systems in Calgary that Cody attended. Like he went to SCI Alberta to do some physio. Met some great people through that.
Yeah, Tick was another.
Yeah, there were some really great things. And I know, like, of course, this is so cliche our day and age, but like I resorted to social media a lot. And so there's lots of people on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram that I found. There's a group called WAGs of SEI, which would be wives and girlfriends of spinal cord injury patients. And so I like joined that group and met a lot of awesome women in the same kind of situation as I was that I could ask questions to or learn more about and stuff. And yeah, I found social media to be really awesome as well.
Yeah. Yeah, when I was at the hospital, there's a couple people who it's their job to kind of go around and be peer coordinators to people. So a it was some people in wheelchairs who come around and they introduce themselves to you, to me and Kiana, kind of, and like, yeah, kind of explain their stories and stuff. And I've become very good friends with all of these people actually. And I've kind of taken what they passed on to me and tried to put it into our own life as well. Like, if there is someone who I can help in some way, I try to make a point of going and visiting them or going and sharing what little knowledge I have or whatever. And then Kiana's done it as well, even though she probably doesn't know. But like, if these people have loved ones or even my family or whatever, like they've been really good at trying to help other families that they found kind of that are in the same situation too. So I think if you find someone in a similar situation or use the resources that are out there, I think it is a big part in the recovery process as well.
Just remember that like life isn't over. Like just
Yeah.
because you're going through a hard time and stuff, like just be grateful that your life is continuing on. Like he's still here. He's still able to do so many things that we've found out about. And I think that is just always looking forward and don't just dwell on what happened to you or what you're going through in that moment. Like life evolves so quickly and even like technology and stuff too. Things are rapidly changing. So who knows, 10 years from now, there might be some sort of technology that changes your situation drastically. And if you aren't looking forward and being optimistic about those sorts of things, then I don't know. I think you can really get yourself in a bit of a
Get in a slump.
Well, and listening to you guys speak, it sounds like connection. Connection is so important for recovery in anything. And I don't think that COVID helped. And that would have been a hard time for you regardless. But people need to be connected and connect with each other and just be able to share stories and help each other. So good for you guys for doing that. And Cody, give yourself more credit because you are knowledgeable and I'm learning a lot from both of you. And I'm so glad that you took the time to meet with me and share your story. Like I said, I'm sorry this happened to you. However, I'm so happy that you guys are moving forward with this. And, you know, I can see two strong people here. I'm going to just ask the question, but do you think that your accident also helped strengthen your marriage and your relationship with each other?
Yeah, big time.
I'd say so, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I think the fact that we kind of leaned on each other to get through everything, right? Yeah, I've probably seen Kiana more in the last 3 years than I did in the 9 years that we dated beforehand, right? And I mean, yeah, there's a lot of frustrating times not between us, but like the situations that I find myself in, and then but knowing that she's there to help me in whatever way that I need the help, yeah, it really means a lot. And I would say that we're probably stronger people and a stronger couple because of the situation. We were good before the situation too. Like it would have, but I mean, yeah, no,
I feel like it put
definitely.
us in a spot where we know that we can kind of overcome anything that gets tossed our way now because we've gone through this life-changing, crazy situation. And so Yeah, now with everything, we're just kind of like, oh, that's a breeze. We don't we have no worries anymore with anything. Everything we'll just like take with a grain of salt because we've already been there, done that. And yeah, like after his accident, I feel like we said it quite a bit that like I don't know if this is the right way to put it, but like we felt that like it was almost a new adventure that we were on together. And so we kind of got to like restart life a little bit together, like just relearning how to do everything,
Yeah.
really, like from eating to using the washroom to going on walks to doing everything. Like we had to relearn everything, and we did that together, and we had a lot of fun doing it. Obviously, there was some frustrating moments, but there was a lot of laughs and stuff too. So
I think that we've just been very good at the tough situations that we do find ourselves in. We've been able to find humor in it whenever possible. Like we go to a friend's house now and it takes three people to get me into the house because there's stairs or whatever. Or yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of uncomfortable situations that you find yourself in, but I don't know. I don't let things really get me uncomfortable. I'm pretty open to whatever. If anything, we can laugh about it and make the best out of a bad situation. So it's one thing that we've both been able to do, I guess you could say, throughout the whole process.
Yeah, that's awesome. You reminded me of, I had Jessica Jansen on my meet. I don't know if you know her, but she's from Calgary. She's a keynote speaker. She's an amazing, strong woman as well. And she'd lost her son, Lewiston, and she has this foundation for Lewiston, but he had spinal muscular atrophy. And she just said something like you had said in the hospital, they just decided, you know what? They knew what the result was going to be in his life, and they just brought the joy. And her book is called Bring the Joy. And Jessica finds joy in everything and anything she does. And I
Yeah.
see that with the two of you. And, we can grumble about the snow and whatnot for this season, but it's not going to change anything. And I appreciate with you telling us, like, you got to find joy in those moments and humor in those moments.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks so much for joining us, Cody and Kianna. And I'm wishing you guys all the best. And I'm so excited about your baby. So,
thank
Thank
you.
you
Yeah,
very
thanks
much.
for having us. It was fun.
absolutely.